SAB, South African breweries, also going to court. The Beer Association of supporting their application to overturn the current 14-day alcohol ban. It's the fourth ban. It's currently in effect until the 11th of July at least. Government then will make another decision. Patricia Pillay is the CEO of the Beer Association of South Africa. Patricia, good evening to you. Thank you for your time on the pulse. Why do you believe that this ban on alcohol should be lifted?
Well, I think firstly, we don't believe that will only be 14 days. And I think that's what our concern is that it's already damaging being 14 days. It's already damaged us with the fourth alcohol ban. But we have no guarantee that come the 14 days that it will end. So we need some kind of transparency within which the decisions are made.
Isn't there transparency already? We can see on a daily basis the number of new COVID-19 cases. Almost 300 people died from this disease in the last 24-hour period. This policy is surely being driven by the numbers, and government has said that.
I think that there is definitely transparency in terms of the number of people that are contracting the virus, etc. But there is no causal link between the opening of alcohol sales and then the impact to people contracting the virus. And I think that's where we are arguing the point, is that there's no correlation. So until evidence can be shown that by banning sales, you're actually now preventing the spread, I think that's when we will accept this ban. But in the interim, you are now not able to balance lives and livelihoods by just completely banning a whole industry.
If you knew for sure that government would lift this ban in 2 weeks, would you still be going to court?
I think for us is that at least then we would be able to plan better. At least we would be able to give some certainty to our employees. We would be able to at least push government to say it's a temporary measure that they're putting in place, but also we would then need to understand from them in terms of the future bans, what rationale are they using so that we don't find ourselves back in this position. I think that's what's frustrating for us, Stephen, is that we continue to have the situation. Every time there's a spike in numbers, the alcohol sector bears the brunt, and we still don't have proper evidence that alcohol is the cause of the spread. We expect and accept that the hospital numbers will increase, but it's not then a definite link to say that the banning of alcohol will prevent that, because mobility is shown to actually decrease the numbers of accidents, etc. And this is all the arguments we have put forward.
So all of those things might be correct. It's for the judges to decide, not for me. But Patricia, there's plenty of evidence around the link between alcohol, the sale of alcohol, and violence, and what that does to hospital beds. We know, we have, so many active cases, so many people in hospital in Gauteng alone. Surely just in that province, you can see hospital beds are full. The hospitals don't have space for the victims of violence linked to alcohol. Wouldn't it be rational under those circumstances to implement this ban?
Look, I think a lot of evidence is anecdotal, but I think that what happens is that when there's a ban, the illicit industry thrives. So if that is the intended consequence, then I think that it's not going to be a good result in any event. We've done a study through Euromonitor, which shows that the illicit industry has grown by threefold. And so at the moment, I can assure you that people are still drinking and that the illicit industry is thriving. So that the unintended consequence is that people are still going to be drinking, and those that abuse the substance are still going to end up in those positions. So rather than do a complete ban, rather work with us as an industry. Let's deal with those social issues, those people that binge drink, which we are doing in any event, and then also let's come to some way that we can compromise. One of the things that we've said is that at least then do off consumption, which then allows people to drink in their homes so that we're not gathering. Gathering is one of the main spreaders. I think that's something we all know. And so there's a balance. But to completely ban an industry with so many livelihoods at stake, I think that's really unreasonable considering the high unemployment rate and poverty we have in the country.
Within all of this, and there's so many different legal issues. You and I have gone through the issue around hospital beds. There's the issue, of course, around notice. But there's another issue under our law which is very important, which is around consultation. As I understand it, you're supposed to be part of discussions at NEDLAC. do you actually get properly consulted? And the precedent for this is that the tobacco industry did what you've done. They went to court to challenge the ban, and in the end there was a sort of agreement that if there was ever going to be another ban on the sale of tobacco products again, the industry would be consulted first. And what that really means in reality is they'll be able to go to court before the ban was implemented. That's what it really means. Were you consulted here?
You know, I think that we need to manage expectations. And I think there is a sense of an expectation maybe that was created, that when our proposals were put forward at NEDLAC, they would then be taken through to the National Command Council and that they would be considered, but also that there would be a courtesy, that we would then be given feedback, that we would then be approached as an industry to say that, look, we are considering a ban, what are your proposals, and then come back to us to say, look, this is the evidence that we have against this decision and we are going to take this decision. And none of that has happened. So we keep on making proposals, and then we don't get any feedback. So every single one of the bans, I can assure you that we were not informed of. I think there was one ban that we were called about 4 hours before, where the minister called a meeting, and we were told that we need to come through, and we were told that there was a ban.
Patricia Pillay, thank you. CEO of the Beer Association of South Africa. I do appreciate the time.